Alright, hello guys, Loprez here. Gonna be doing a tutorial on how to use the CSV writer. Something I use a lot for work, and I decided that maybe a lot of people might not know how to use it. Especially since just a second ago I learned that if you're using the version 27, I believe it is, manage new packages. Let's see here. Yeah, 27.1. There's two pretty major changes that I didn't know existed originally. So all I did was I made it a very simple console application. I created a list of an object that I created, and I'll show you that in a second. I just added 3 fields. If you don't know where these are supposed to be coming from, it should be probably like an API call or a SQL query or something like that from your database. This I just hard coded just as an example here. And over in the game info section, I just created a simple object of game info. So let's get started. First thing we can do is we can get started with the CSV configuration, which is something that is new for version 27. So, there we go. CSV configuration, and we're going to make a config equals new CSV configuration. We're going to create this file here. What is this asking for? This is asking for a culture info, so let's give it what it wants. And we're going to do the get culture info method. We're going to add the string, and I believe it is formatted like such, English Canada. And in here, what the config file allows you to do is in here is where you're going to change the delimiter. Before, this used to be something that was managed by, there we go, within the CSVHelper. So now that we have that configuration done, we can go ahead and start creating our CSV file. So we're going to be using, we're going to create a writer method here, or writer object, sorry, equals new, oh gosh, what was it? Stream writer, that's the one. Writer, and we're going to do a file create, and we're going to be overwriting in this case the same file every time. And what we're going to want to also do is we're going to want to create a string with the file name that we want. So what we'll do here is we'll do a string file name. You could do this in the create method if you really wanted to, but probably later down the line you'll probably be doing it this way too, because it's a little easier with configuration files and such like that. So we're going to name this game info, and I want to get the date in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the very beginning of this, add a $sign. This stops me from having to do, like, if I wanted to add a variable, I'd have to do this, and then date time and such like that. So within here, we're going to add date time dot now dot toString, and we're going to format this because since it's a file, we don't want any slashes in our date time, and we're going to do month, day, and year. And since we know it's going to be a CSV file pretty much every time, we can just hard code that in there and do .csv. And that should be that done. So we can grab this file name, turn that into here as the string. It should be golden. And we'll add a second using statement, and this is what's going to actually create the CSV file. What you're going to want here, I think we might need to do the mapping first. Let's get started though. We'll start here and get the mapping done in a second. CSV equals new CSVHelper. All right, and then we're going to do new, then we're going to do a new CSV writer. And writer, we're going to pass in our stream writer as well as the config that we added above, and that'll control the delimiter and the culture info, so the name that or the language the file will be in. And within here, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do CSV. This is another thing that's changed within the new version of CSVHelper. We're going to do csv.context, and then we're going to do a dot forgot what it's called. Map. It's a map something. Register class map. And in here is where we're going to add our object, which we will define in just a second here. I just want to get this last thing done here. And then finally after that, so those are the two main new things. Everything else afterwards, if you used an older version, should be about the same as it was before. And we'll do write records, and then we're going to pass in our list or enumerable, whatever you have there. And that should be that there. So this is pretty much all done. We'll have to change this object in just a second, but we're going to go to our object where we created the information we have here, and we're going to go into this class. We're going to create a public sealed class. We're going to call it game info map. This is an easy reference. We know it's a mapper class. We're going to inherit from the class map method, and we'll pass in the control dot using CSVHelper configuration. And we'll pass in the main object where all this is going to be mapping from. And we'll do that. And then we're going to create a constructor of game info map. Map. Do that there. And then we're going to actually make the maps. So what these are going to do is we're going to do a map m, we're going to do a little bit of a lambda expression, m dot, and we're going to grab the game ID, which is going to be the first column header, and we're going to give it a column header name. So instead of it being named game name, if you didn't have this class map method, you don't actually need this. If you have reasonable names here, you can just leave it this way and pass in game info, and you're pretty much done. But we're going to do this and name it something ourselves. I just want this to be ID in the header, and we're going to do the same thing for each of them. Call this title. Game summary, and we'll do that. Name is summer. And there we go. And that should be all we need. So we're going to grab this guy, make sure they're both public. Otherwise, you're probably going to get a weird error saying that one is a lower priority than the other. I'm going to enter that into there. I believe that should be all we need. So after that, you have a fully working CSV writer. Just going to run it just in case I'm lying to you here. And we can go. So I didn't specify where I wanted the file to go, so it's just going to go within the same folder that the program is running. Open containing folder. And it should be in the bin, debug, and there we are right here. Oh, no, there we go. That makes more sense. That was one I made a while ago. Okay, there we go. There we go, and there we go right here. So we have an ID, title, and summary. And now you can map any class you want using that method, and you're good to go. Is there anything else I wanted to add here? If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd be happy to help you out. I'm also learning these things myself, so if you're struggling, don't be shy. This stuff is always changing. Can't tell you how frustrating it was to figure out that this was moved. Literally in version 15, with the one we used at work for a while there, this used to be possible just like this. It was like the exact same, except it didn't have the stupid context. But now, for some reason, someone decided you have to do context.register class map. Don't know what changed, but that's what they did. Anyway, I'll end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, have a great day.